What's up, Bay Area? I'm your guest host, Sandy Prito, and the president and co-founder of Notes4Hope, and I'm super excited today to talk to and learn more about my guests, Cielo and Luis Castro. They are the owners and operators of Del Cielo Brewery in Old Town historic Martinez. Welcome, Cielo and Luis.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. I'm excited to learn more about Del Cielo, but first and foremost, tell us why you founded it and what the mission is.
So Del Cielo's mission is brewing community through quality beer with passion and purpose. We started in our home brewing, and it all started bringing all of our friends to our home to try our beers. And it was such a beautiful experience to share what Luis was brewing, people enjoying it, and our home got too small.
Yeah.
For hosting.
And how long ago was this?
Oh my God, I would say 7 or 8 years ago.
About.
Yeah, and do you have a background in brewing?
I don't. Yeah.
You just a passion for it.
Yeah, basically, just start brewing at home. It went from like brewing once a month, then like once a week, then like twice a week. Then it got to a point like we literally have more beer than that we can drink by ourselves. So that's kind of when we start like inviting some of our friends to help us consume the beer.
Wish I knew you then, but I know you now.
Yeah, and then basically like I was doing like a beer release like almost like every other week, inviting like some of my closest friends. It went from like 8 people, then we started inviting wives and girlfriends, and then friends, more friends, people that we just met. It's like, hey, just come to our house. We're having some beers tonight. Come and try it. The only requisite is that you need to fill a piece of paper with some notes. So we always wanted to your feedback from the beer.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so you gotta drink, but you have a homework to do.
And you two were obviously together then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how did you first meet?
We met in Cleveland, Ohio.
Of course.
Back in 2017.
Oh,
2007.
I was going to say 2017 was not that long ago.
2007.
Yes.
I was fresh out of college.
Mm-hmm.
Luis was doing his MBA there, and we met one night through mutual friends. Danced all night, and that was it.
Yeah. What brought you to California?
It was actually work. I had been in Cleveland for 3 years. And when I met Luis, I was like, okay, I'm ready to like move to a nicer, like warmer space.
Yes.
And we ended up like applying for some jobs, and it brought us to California.
Right. And then obviously the beer started making in your garage and grew. So tell me more about that.
Yeah,
Starting Del Cielo.
So when I moved to the U.S. when I moved here, before that I was just drinking like domestic Colombian beer, like nothing special. There's nothing craft. At that time, there was no craft beer in Colombia. Now there's a handful in multiple cities, but then it was like super. For me, it's like discovering like all the different beers that other brewers are making
In the U.S.
Mm-hmm. So I remember the first beer that I tried was a 90-minute from Duckfish. So I'm like, oh my God, this is actually has flavor. You know, it's like I've been wasting my last 25 years drinking crappy beer. So then from there, everything just
You got inspired.
and then when we were living in Ohio, we'll go to like different breweries or tap rooms. And on the weekends, we'll take like trips to, I would say like an hour stay or like 3 or 4 hours drive, and then we'll try to hit like as many breweries as we can on the way.
You know, research.
Yeah, pretty much research. And at that time in Ohio, like I never thought to have like, I'm gonna have a brewery, or I'm gonna start making beer. But when we moved to California, then a group of friends they just gave me. So every time that I was going to a friend's house, I would bring like 1 or 2 6-packs, but all the 6-packs are different. So different beers, and then I will open it, tasting it with them, kind of talking about the beer. But it got to a point that like, you know what, dude, like we just want to drink the beer, like we don't want to talk about beer. It's like, you should brew your own beer. Everybody's like, you should brew your own beer. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it. It's like, it's too messy. I'm like super OCD, so I like to keep everything super organized. And then one year, they just gave me a gift certificate from the local homebrew shop that is here in Concord, More Beer. So then that was...
Beer, more beer.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we did. Like, we got I bought like a super easy home kit. We did our first batch. It took us longer than what we thought it was gonna be. It was kind of...
It was in the kitchen.
It was in the kitchen, so we were not ready for that. And then after that first batch, then I decided to buy like a better equipment to be able to brew it and faster and the whole thing. And yeah, and from there we just, like I said, like I was brewing like once a month, then everything just started like brewing like multiple times a week. So from there just went.
I feel like your particularness or you thinking that it's too messy actually is a huge benefit because it's driven you, right, to keep perfecting and keep pushing forward and making better beer, because your beer is delicious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you clearly have many varieties, both obviously on tap and in cans. So can we talk a little bit now more about the beer you brew and styles of beer and how you name them? Because you have some great names.
Okay. Yeah. So if we talking about the names, I would say like names are the most difficult part of the beer.
They are.
Especially after you have like, I don't know, 70 beers, you already use all your ideas. So now we're at the point like everybody on our company kind of throws some ideas. Sometimes some of those ideas stick to a wall, and then some we just take them and kind of change a little bit, and that's kind of a new name. And now everything have to be labeled, so every beer we have to have a label. So that's something that sometimes it takes us a while to get like new labels, but now we're kind of working ahead of that.
Yeah, but there are certain beers you have that are constants, correct?
Yeah.
Like, what are your best-selling beers?
So some of our core beers we have our Orale, which is our Mexican lager. Yeah, so that's one of the beers that on volume we sell more, wholesale and at the tap room. Definitely at the tap room we sell more like hazies, IPAs, but people now are going more into the lagers and light beers too.
And that goes really delicious with the michelada as well.
Yeah.
Right.
That we
'cause
serve at the brewery.
You do beer and food pairings. Well, before we get into that, because I still want to talk a little bit, like, how did you come up with Del Cielo? Tell us about the inspiration, because now we've moved out of the home. We have too many people, not enough room. You picked Martinez. You picked this fabulous corner spot, I have to say. But let's talk a little bit more about that. What brought you there to that space and this name?
I would say in terms of the space, we knew we wanted to be in a community.
Right.
And we did a serving of homebrew during a zombie crawl in Martinez. And during that, you get to go to different businesses and try beer. And as we were going to all these businesses, we start meeting the owners and seeing the spaces and seeing the community that was there.
So you were there as a participant. You
Yes.
actually weren't serving your beer. Got it.
Well, actually, we were serving our homebrew.
Right.
And once our
As
shift
a
was
pop-up,
done, we were like,
yeah.
okay, let's do the actual crawl ourselves and try different beers. And we just fell in love with Martinez. We started to ask the business owners, how do you like this, the community? What do you think if we brought a brewery idea that we have in mind? And everyone just like, yes, please. And that's how we kind of like landed on finding the perfect spot in Martinez.
Yeah, and then beer, when we've talked about this outside of this, but beer is just that common connector, It really is a great social drink. Again, it's not too high in alcohol, so it's something you can enjoy over time with friends, and I love that, and I love Martinez too. What a great community that you've landed in. So tell me a little bit about Del Cielo, because I know there's a significance to that name.
Yeah, so at the same time that we were brewing at home and then things were kind of growing, and we thought, like, well, maybe this can be something that we can do in the future. So because like Cielo is from Puerto Rico, I'm from Colombia, so we wanted to have like a name in Spanish that represent something. So kind of we took like, I took Cielo Mar's name, like Cielo Mar goes together, but when you remove the MAR
Right.
at the end of her name,
The water part.
yeah, and then you put the DL, like the meaning of the word just changed, totally changed.
Right.
So it goes, and that's why we have a beer from heaven.
Beer from heaven.
And it's nothing religious about beer. It's more like, you know, when that moment when you're having that sip of beer at the end of your day, and then you have that fresh, crisp lager or West Coast IPA, and you're like, oh my God, this is it. This is exactly what I wanted. So that's what we
It's kind of can
wanna-
be a spiritual experience because
Yeah.
it is. No, I mean not to put that heavy of a word on it, but for many people it really is. It's a nice way to like get relaxed and especially when it's delicious.
Yeah, and especially like for us, like we always try to put 200% on every single beer.
Yeah.
Our ingredients that we get, the fruits that we get for our sours, we kind of source those. We have a distributor that brings some fruits from Colombia, so that kind of tied our whole background into what we're trying to do on our space. So, yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So what brings you joy every day doing this or in general running this business?
I would say like one of the things like after a long day, if I'm outside the brewery and then I come into the tap room and I see the tap room full of families, you know, it's like the parents with the kids having chicken fingers or some fries, the parents having a beer. Then on the other corner you see the first day of a couple, and then like some friends just getting together. We have a nice group of regulars. They just come in. They probably try to sit on the same spot, and so then I just come and say hi to them. I know like a lot of the kids that they were coming to the brewery, and now they're like 7 or 8 years old. So that connection with the community and that special treatment that you want to give to every single customer too.
Right, and you can feel it. I do when I go. And I know that you also do activities for kids and you also do fundraising and giving back to the community. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
Yes, we offer live music every Friday and Saturday, and we love curating a variety of genres. So from like Latin jazz to salsa to reggae, rock, just kind of like to curate a really diverse events. And in addition to that, we do a lot of nonprofit collaborations. So whether it's Rainbow Community Center, Notes4Hope, Bay Area Bike Project, we find things that we're really passionate about. ARF, I would definitely wouldn't want to leave them out as well. And we collaborate, whether it's like through a beer and event collaboration or a strictly event collaboration.
Yeah. And thank you,
yes,
by the
of
way,
course.
for doing Notes4Hope and doing the FU Cancer IPA, which was delicious, and we did an event together, and I really appreciate that. You guys are very caring, wonderful people. You also do collaborations with your beer brewing itself, and that's kind of a good segue to talk about 2023, because I know that you have done for the past few years beer collaboration with home brewers, which I find, you know, going back to your roots, right?
Yeah.
Literally.
So this is the part that we love about this industry, like the collaboration, even including with other breweries.
Right.
So you can always do collaborations with other breweries, something that you just wanted to do fun, and then obviously, I always wanted to get back into keep that connection with our group, with our homebrew club. So the homebrew club is in Walnut Creek. And the name is Dose. If somebody wants to learn how to make beer, if you're already making beer and you wanted to get better, that's the perfect way to do it. You just sign up for the homebrew club, and they meet every Monday, the last Monday of the month.
Okay.
So that's kind of.
And in 2023, you're going to do a contest, correct?
Yeah, so we normally do a homebrew competition, and then we normally do it in Q1, and then
Like March.
March or April, kind of around that area. And then the best of show for that competition, then we'll brew the beer that they won with. So it's kind of fun. And that was something that I did before it went commercially, I did with a couple of breweries before too.
And what else do you have planned for 2023?
We're starting to do food and beer pairings. We just had our first dinner,
Which sold out.
which sold out in 2 days. So
Wow, that's amazing.
total success. So yeah, we're excited to be now offering like the pairing of like really delicious beer with really delicious food, and having our customers enjoy that experience. Our next one will be a 3-course brunch happening the last Sunday of February. We're also turning 5 in May.
Celebrating 5 years. That's awesome.
Yes, we're super excited about that. We're planning a 2-day celebration, music, food, more beer.
Couple new beers coming up. Yeah.
You're creating a beer for that?
Yeah, we normally release like 1 or 2 beers a month. Something new.
month?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And so you'll have one special for that. Do you have the dates in May when that event's happening?
Yes, that will be the weekend of the 19th.
May 19th. Excellent. And people can go to your website to find out more information?
Yes, by the time it's closer to that time, we'll be able to release like who are the bands coming,
Right.
any special beers, all the details.
But more importantly, like you had mentioned, go to Instagram. Everybody uses that now as the best way to communicate, not just Instagram, but Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. Social
But
media. Yeah.
social media is the best way to learn what's happening.
Yes, we keep all
Every
of our
weekend.
events on Instagram, Facebook, and if you don't happen to use social media, we do have a calendar on our website where you can see all of the events happening at the brewery.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to that. Congratulations on 5 years.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
And you'll be working with more nonprofits, I'm sure. Hopefully, we'll continue our
Yes.
FU Cancer IPA with Notes4Hope, which was amazing because you distributed that to all of your locations, which we really appreciate. Yeah, so I just wanted to give a thanks from Notes4Hope because really it's people like you and partnering with people like you that keeps us motivated and going, because this is a labor of love, and I love the beer community as you do too. I mean, it's amazing to see how collaborative and community oriented all of the brewers, at least the ones that I've met, are. And where do people go to get more information about, well, you're located at 701 Escobar
Yep.
in Martinez.
Yes.
And that's that brick building on the corner, correct? And it has the big beer sign out
Can't
front.
miss it.
Can't miss it. And you're open every day?
We're Tuesdays to Sundays.
Tuesday through Sunday. And I know it's delcielobrewing.com. And if someone is interested in being in the contest, do they have to do for the homebrew
Yeah,
partnership?
so for the homebrew, like we normally, everything that we do is normally through social media.
Okay.
So make sure they
So follow on
follow us
Instagram.
on Instagram, Facebook, and then we normally post on our social media at least like a month before we're gonna have the competition.
Well, great. Well, thank you both for being here. I appreciate your time, and I'm excited to continue working with you personally as a
We are as
person
well.
for Notes4Hope. And, you know, thank you for being on What's Up Bay Area.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us.
So make sure to visit Del Cielo Brewing Company at 701 Escobar Street in Martinez for some beer from heaven. Great food, super friendly people. And to learn more about Notes4Hope and our mission, you can visit www.notes4hope, that's notes, N-O-T-E-S, number 4hope.org. I'm Sandy Prito. Thanks for watching What's Up Bay Area.